Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 18 of BrewFOs. Today, I am here with, you want to cheers to Dan Cleary.
What's up, man?
What's up, dude? Nice
How
to meet
are
you
you?
finally.
Likewise.
Guitar tech. What else we got here? Podcaster. You did 9 years of dark matter radio.
Yep, almost 10 years. I think it was almost 10 years.
Oh my God, dude.
Yep, that was the best time of my life doing
I-
doing radio and podcasts with my friend and boss of 18 years, Dave Navarro. It was really, really fun. That's kind of where I got my start doing this kind of stuff.
Okay, and then you went to Rare Form Radio and then Others from Another Mother? Is that
exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's how I know about you. Mainly from Others from Another Mother. Or OFAM, as you say it.
Yeah.
Good work, man. I really like what you and Chad do. I know Chad's not on there all the time, but how do you say his last name? Chad Slauson? Is that it?
Schlosser.
Okay. I was telling Pavel, I was like, dude, what's up with just all these white dudes with beards having UAP podcasts? So like, thank you for what you do. And I'm a Chad, and then Dan's got Chad with him, and like we need more like black and brown people, especially women.
Yeah, the women are getting
out there. Come on,
the women are rising up, which is awesome. Pavel, of course, is the UFO Mexican. He's killing it down there.
Yeah,
and the topic's getting bigger, and I think it is getting more diverse. But I'm with you. It is, all of us are mostly white dudes, and all of us look like, emo, hipstery kind of guys. And
why do you think that is? Like, I know that's the same thing with the history of this country, but like all of our presidents except for Barack is white dudes, usually Christian or Catholic, well, too Catholic. Yep. And then the whistleblowers coming forward, they're all just a bunch of white dudes.
Yeah, except for Chief Wiggins.
Yeah, Chief Wiggins, of
course. But yeah, you're right. Isn't Elizondo? Isn't he Cuban also?
Oh, you're right. He's Cuban,
but still, you look at him. It's a white guy with a beard.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because if we're being completely honest, I think especially white dudes in America have the luxury of being able to get weird and have a bunch of spare time where we're not worried about as much stuff. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's part of it.
Which is fucked up, right? But that's cool. I just want to call that out too, and that's cool.
Sure.
That you're calling that out,
Yeah, sure, no problem. but I'm happy. I'm happy. I was born this way because it gives me time to delve into this topic as deeply as I have.
Yeah. And speaking of, that's where before the internet kind of went weird. The Others from Another Mother. So,
yeah,
what made you want to start Others from Another Mother? OFAM.
I think I've been playing music myself since I was about 12 years old. There's music on in my house growing up all the time. My house was all about watching movies and TV. Like all my spare time was spent in my room watching movies, listening to music, and just my imagination would go crazy. And I've been into this topic since I was about 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
And my career in music, I have definitely noticed that artistic folks or like creative-minded people seem to have a huge amount of connection to the UFO topic or to kind of paranormal or weird or woo type things. And I love all the UFO podcasts. I love listening to, the people everyone talks to, the Gary Nolans and I like what Ross Coulthart does for the most part, talking to George Knapp and all the UFO people. But I kind of wanted to start a podcast where I kind of talk to more people in the arts, whether it's actors or musicians or directors and producers, because I think they have maybe more of a shorthand to whatever the phenomenon is. And I think that might be, in my experience, more susceptible to having experiences or being more open to talk about weird things. You know, musicians are, you play music, right? You're a musician.
Yeah.
I can see the guitars in the back, and
Yeah.
I've heard your music and seen some of your
sick.
stuff, and it's
Yeah.
awesome. But I think people like us are just kind of more on the outskirts of society anyway, so we're already have an easier time talking about weird things. And I've just found I find myself in the room with some pretty amazing people in my career, and the kind of people that end up backstage at concerts are like, you know, generals and politicians, and I don't know. I just feel like creative people have a connection to this, and I wanted to start a podcast that focused more on kind of that aspect.
Fuck yeah, dude. And I the thing I really love about you, and I'll keep shouting out Pavel, but Sequativo podcast, everybody.
He rules.
Yeah, but what I love about you and what you do too is you know, it's kind of like what you see is what you get with you. And like I like how, you know, it's so real. You like feel like you're in the room, and when you're watching, listening, you feel like you're in the room with you guys, and it doesn't feel overproduced, or, you know, it's weird. It's like it's the whole podcast thing is so weird because like people, like I don't know you, but I feel like I kind of know you, know, just from that. And it's rad because that's how it works out, you know.
Thank you. I mean, that's definitely on purpose. And I grew up loving Howard Stern. I love Howard Stern show. And I liked that, you know, he's always brought in people that work on the show to be kind of part of it. And everyone's personalities kind of shine through, and you kind of like, Howard Stern was kind of the first reality show, but I feel like no one on that is really acting. And so whenever I've done podcasts or just in life, I like to be myself because it's a lot easier than trying to remember who I'm trying to be. So just be yourself all the time, be normal, and it's less work, you know. But yeah, thank you for noticing. I think my favorite shows too are the ones where I'm watching and I feel like I'm just hanging out with people, you know. Yeah. It's important to me. So thank you. I appreciate it.
And it's good to call out too. You do the Doomer Friday with Clint and Pavel, and what's the Xander? That's right. Okay.
And Eric Schlimmer, the UAP therapist.
Okay. Yeah.
Those night shift streams are probably my favorite day of the week.
They're cool, man.
And kind of what you said about what we do is when I first saw Clint and Pavel together on an interview, I remember thinking like, I like these guys a lot. Like these guys feel sincere and they feel like friends of mine. And I remember I was watching, and my wife is kind of walking through and checking it out. And I told her, I'm like, I want to be friends with these guys. Like I want to try to find a way to talk to these guys. And literally just reached out to Clint and sent him a message and said, I really love what you do. And I'm starting my own thing soon, and it'd be cool to talk sometime. And he was like, man, hey, nice to meet you. Come on the show sometime. It was that easy. Right. And hit it off. And those guys have been just beyond supportive. And it's been really fun watching Xander's Dreamland Motel show blow up, and Pavel's becoming a superstar. You know, two nights ago, went to the opening of Age of Disclosure in LA, and you know, Danny Sheehan was there, and Pavel was asked to take more pictures than Danny Sheehan was.
Oh wow,
it was awesome.
Okay.
I mean, it was Pavel's first time, I think, being in a crowd where people were like, "Hey man, can I get a picture?" And it was beautiful. I mean, he was so cool with folks. So yeah, I think when you're kind of into any topic, but UFOs for sure, it can get really messy online and very dramatic and exhausting. And most of us have stayed away from that. So it's nice to spend time with people who are just supportive and cool and positive and honest and sincere. So yeah, I love those guys, and their whole community has been so supportive and awesome.
That's right. I mean, I was like, do you want to talk about the Age of Disclosure right now, or should we like
It's your
because I
show.
know it's fresh.
Whatever you want to do. I mean, I can talk about whatever you want for as long as you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's so fresh. Like you saw it twice already, right?
I didn't watch it yesterday. I saw it Friday night, and I'm going in a couple hours. I'm going to the second screening at the same theater, and I think they're doing a Dan Farrow's doing a Q&A, which I think Jay Stratton and Tim Gallaudet are supposed to be there.
Wow. Okay.
So that's exciting.
That's really cool.
You saw the movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we bought it and then we watched it and watched it with my mother-in-law. I was like,
okay.
Whoa.
Well, here's what I want to know. So is your mother-in-law into this at all?
She is, just because I got the podcast and or I call it a conversation series. It doesn't really feel like a podcast because I don't have like an audio form of it. But
okay.
But yeah, like she knows about it through that and whatever CNN posts or
yep.
But yeah, she was really afterwards was just like, wow, like what's next kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because this is the stuff I want to know. Like, those of us who are pretty well educated, there's a couple new things in the movie that surprised me, but for the most part, we kind of know that whole story, and I'm really curious to see how society reacts to it. That's the whole point, right? That's why the film was made.
Yeah.
It's making more of a stir than I anticipated so far, which is awesome. I think the word of mouth is already kind of traveling. I'm seeing it everywhere. I have like friends of mine who I didn't know were into it, hitting me up saying they watched this movie. Have I seen it? Have I heard of it? I'm like, yes, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
But so far it's been cool to watch. I mean, watch it grow and kind of explode, and CNN and Fox News covering it, and HBO covering it. It's cool, man. I think we're in a kind of a neat time.
Yeah, that was cool about the documentary too, is just showing like it's such a catalog like of just showing like all the different news media, like whether it was Fox or CNN or whatever it was just showing it, like clips of it throughout, since basically 2017.
Yep.
Until now. And it was kind of like, whoa, yeah, this is really like, even on the political level, it's like really bipartisan and everyone who's involved. And it was just like, whoa, like, even though we already know the people in this topic, we were just like, after watching it, I was like, whoa. But dude, another thing though, after watching it, there's this like this feeling of dread where it's like, who's really running this country then? Or like who's really in charge here, And me and my wife have talked about this before, but like it just it seems kind of like, I don't know, unfortunately, if Congress can't get information of this stuff, presidents can't get information of this stuff, then it sounds like we're just kind of doing a fun little, play here, like playing democracy.
Right.
Or,
right.
while something else is going on.
That's sort of the kind of stuff that people like Matt Brown have alluded to in recent months, is that like we don't like we kind of do live in a pretend world, and it does kind of feel that way, where we're not really, government is not a real thing. Democracy isn't a real thing. We think it is, and the illusion is nice, but what is really going on behind the scenes is probably pretty insane. And I think I'm on board with that thinking. That makes sense to me. And the more we learn and the more we see, like, it does seem like we're definitely not getting the full story of what the world is that we live in.
Yeah, reality, right? Reality is classified, or
right.
Somebody said that, but
Jake Barber I think said that, right now, like, reality shouldn't be classified. The sky shouldn't be classified, but they are. Yeah. It's weird. Like, science and nature is being kept from humanity, and that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And unacceptable.
And so that's another reason why I think this is probably one of the most important issues, if not the most important issue, because if we end up figuring out more to this, or know more of what reality really is, how is that going to change how we view each other? How is it going to change how we view religion? And, you know, I mean, people talk about this all the time, but, you know, that's, you know, it's wild to think about because we, like, what was it? Like Mitch McConnell just rolled back hemp. Like, I think there's like a hemp ban now in the US or something.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, this like something would happen in like the 50s or
Yeah.
something.
Right.
And like,
Right.
you know, if the LGBTQ community is still afraid of like some law being like, you know, taking away their rights to get married or like we're still at this point, or women's rights to their own bodies or like stuff like that. Like if you find out there's a whole different reality than like what we're living in right now, and you find out that there's things more advanced than us that don't have a religion or that, you know, they can give two shits about who Jesus is, you know, or whatever religious figure.
Whoever. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to really like change how we look at each other and look at what the fuck we're doing here.
We need to. Yeah. I mean, like I've been saying this for a couple of years, I feel like. We are in desperate need of being humbled. Like a humbling would be good for this planet. And, you know, I think what we're doing now clearly isn't working. You know, we have, you know, nations warring with other nations. In this country, in the United States, I mean, you and I both live in California, so like we don't experience a lot of it firsthand, but like the country is at each other's throats, and by design. I mean this is what's trying to be done to us, which is weird. What we're doing is not working. I think we need a little reset, and I think something like the reality of some kind of intelligence being here that is more powerful and smarter and more in control than we are might be a wake-up call that could be unifying. I mean, it's going to shake people up, and it's kind of scary and overwhelming and mysterious and confusing, but I think that's not a bad thing. I think it's something, if we can all, you know, COVID, whatever you think of COVID, I mean, at the beginning of it, at least it felt like the whole world was going through something together. I mean, it sucked, but there was a minute when we're all kind of unified and all kind of like, when was the last time the whole earth went through one thing together? Not in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that could do that, but have a more positive outcome.
I hope so. Like by you saying that, I really hope so. I just, I saw how COVID became political.
Yep.
And then it became two sides and got really scary. And then, I'm glad, again, bring it up, Pavel.
Yeah.
I'm glad Pavel calls us out a lot, but, because it's right, because I've talked about this in different episodes on this show, but it's just, I came from a Christian background, and I left in my early 20s. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but you know, I was like, I'm just hearing a lot of Congress members and, you know, some people, you know, coming forward about this, just saying it's angels or demons, or putting their Christian or Catholic view on it. You know, that was one of the things in the age of disclosure that was really disturbing to me, when they're saying they're going to these top dudes in charge, and they're like, you can't look at this because you're doing Satan's work, or they're demons. And then is China saying that when they're looking into it? And if they're not, then they're probably more advanced than we are on this subject. If they're not, you know?
Yeah,
but,
right. I don't think China has any guardrails or stop signs as to the amount of effort that they're putting into their intel and their programs. I'm sure they're just like 24/7. I imagine, you know, there's no rules, figure it out. Let's be first. And we have these, you know, we can call them the Collins elite, or that type of person that are being like, no, this is against Jesus. We can't even talk about this. That's going to handicap us quite a bit, I think.
Yeah.
But it was weird to hear. I mean, but also we need to be open to everything. maybe it is angels and demons. I don't think so, but I don't know that it's not.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
Yeah.
Everyone's entitled to their opinions, but to not study it at the highest level because it doesn't mix with your beliefs of your religion is a very bad idea.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And I think, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but if it is, and if it does end up being angels and demons, and it's all, Jesus is the way, and God's here, and the Bible's 100% true, and all the stuff that we hear all the time. Okay, like
We'll
think,
deal with it.
yeah, we'll deal with it. Okay, that, like, bring the truth. I want to know.
Yeah, you prove it to me, and I'll go with it. But
Yeah.
that's going to take a lot of proving for someone like me. Can I ask you what made you leave the church, or what made you leave Christianity?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things, but I really started diving into the history, and like, how did, like, I wanted to know, like, how did these books get put into one big thing that's called the Bible, which just means library. Like, that's all it is. It's like a library of all these books, right? And then when you start going back and reading about, like, the different councils and these dudes that were picking and choosing what goes in there, and that there was a lot more written. And that's why I like to tell people too, like, you think women didn't write anything for the last 2,000 years? Like, you're fucking stupid if you don't think that. I'm sorry, but like, there was a lot of smart women that were writing shit down, and there could have been books that were not included that women wrote,
Sure.
And but stuff like that, you just start thinking, like, certain things too, like, if there was a flood that covered the whole earth, like, then how did freshwater fish survive? Did they go, did they go on the ark, or did Noah have tanks, or or like, even trees? Like, how did trees that need fresh water, how do they survive? Like,
the Bible
like
definitely leaves you with a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Like logical questions that, like, kindergartners can be like, but how come, but wait a minute, how come, that kind of stuff.
And I was that kindergartner, dude. Like, I actually went to a Christian school. I used to go to up until 8th grade. I was going to church like 3 to 4 times a week.
Oh my God.
I was leading worship for churches. I was going to be a youth pastor. Like, that was my, trajectory. Yeah.
That life is so foreign to me. I can't imagine having a childhood like that.
Yeah, it was weird, but then at the same time, I know we've been texting for a little bit, but like, I, at 4 years old, like, I saw The Howling, and I grew up at a time where, I was living with my parents divorced, so I'd be with my mom sometimes and be with my dad. My dad didn't know this at the time, but when he was gone at work all day, I'm a kid, and then HBO and whatever would come on for like a month for free.
Oh, dude, that was the best.
Dude,
that was the best.
I saw Eddie Murphy stand up in his red jumpsuit when I was like, I can't remember how old.
Delirious.
Yeah.
Delirious. One of the best comedy specials of all time.
I was probably like 5 or 6 when I saw that, and I just wanted to be him. Like, I was like, that guy's the coolest guy ever, memorizing stuff you said and then reciting it in Christian school.
Goonie Goohoo. Yeah, of course.
Dude. But yeah, so like, I had kind of a weird, and then when I was 11 or 12, we moved into this new house, and the house next to us, this punk band that were like vegan, straight edge, like, listen to Propaganda, and like, they were just jamming every day, and I'd go over there, and I'm this little kid, like, learning from these punk dudes that are just like
awesome.
Yeah, so I had this like weird mindset, like weird kind of split that my consciousness was like always at tug of war with. So, but
Fascinating.
So
Yeah.
I ended up
That's cool.
leaving though in my early 20s, and it was hard, dude. I was telling Pavel this. I got to hang out with Pavel last night and his wife, but it was a rough 10 years after I left. So it was like
I mean, like with family and with friends, or just with your own, like dealing with your own shit?
I was talking to something, dude. Like so like when you grow up, I'm I'm autistic and I got diagnosed late, so in 2021, coming up here pretty soon is the anniversary, but I didn't know. But so like if you tell me something, I would just like, okay, that's true. Like my parents are telling me this, my family's telling me this, but I'd still question things, but like
Okay.
just be like, okay, like so I was talking to God like God was there all the time. And I don't know who I was talking to, but like it felt real. Like the whole time it was real. It
But you would
like
get responses. You feel like you would get
I thought I
responses.
was, but but when I left, I thought, man, I was a crazy person, right? And then now, kind of full circle after the telepathy tapes have come out, and like I'm learning all this stuff about consciousness, and like all these scientists talking about shit that I'm like, what the? I'm like, who was I talking to? Was I talking to multiple things maybe, or was it one thing, or I don't know. Um, but I can't say if it was God. Um, but
Maybe.
but leaving that, it felt like I was cut off from a relationship that was there since I was a kid. So it was tough.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah.
You got to feel, I'm sure you felt a little lost and untethered for a while.
Yeah, especially with your friends and family that are from that, like, again, like I was going to church and meeting these people all the time. My whole family's from there. So,
Yep.
like, when you're like, I'm leaving, you know, I, you hear about people leaving cults and how you can't do it. Like, it's hard. And
Yep.
it's a very similar. I
Yep.
mean, I think it's a bigger cult, but yeah, it's a,
My former co-host on my other podcast, Rare Form Radio, her name is Heidi, and she grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. And so she would tell these stories about how I think she was in her 30s the first time she celebrated her birthday or had any kind of holiday. Um, like when she was in school, because she was Jehovah's Witness, when, in elementary school, when a kid would have a birthday party, when I was growing up, birthday party in school, everyone brought in cupcakes and there was like a party for the kid. When that would happen for her, she would have to go to an empty classroom and sit there by herself while all of her classmates have cupcakes and celebrate. And I just can't imagine. And she came out of that eventually after, a few decades, and had a whole new world to explore
wow.
with like holidays and stuff. And it's just, it's fun. It's good to think about other people's lives and how people have so many different perspectives. So when we're disagreeing with somebody and you're wondering, how could you possibly think that? Well, think for a second. You don't know how they grew up. You don't know their life experiences. A lot of people are blocked off from a lot of information and, ways of living and thoughts. So we got to be a little bit more patient with each other, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
And especially like our whatever their parents were teaching them, or again, their community, like within a religion or a cult or whatever.
Yep.
Like it's they you literally think it's a different reality. It's a completely different reality.
Sure.
And like even now I got it's I wouldn't say trauma, but you get like you think, like even the word sin, like you think about like like now I'm like like what I was taught was sin my whole life. It's
Right.
just it's so weird. Like that's a sin. What are you guys
Yeah.
talking about? Like
Like it's a thought. I had a thought. I can't help it, but my thought is a sin. How do
Yeah.
I stop? How do you stop a thought?
or
If I tell you, don't think right now, Chad, do not think about killing your wife.
yeah.
You're going to think about it right away, or your girlfriend, whatever it is. Like you can't do that. Thoughts they don't work that way.
Yeah, or I mean, even like something that's another reason I had friends that were from the LGBTQ community, and like you just hearing over and over like it's an abomination, or like, you know, uh just saying that, oh, I love them still, but it's a sin. I'm like, what is going on here? And that was another reason I started kind of drifting away, too. But
I totally get that. I heard the best quote the other day that I want to read to you.
please.
That kind of reminds me of this a little bit. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Oh. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, then it will believe itself to be useless.
Yeah.
So if there's a flaw if you see one flaw in someone's personality, that does not encompass who they are as a person. It just means there's one, but they could be, we got to find more things to connect with in a positive way rather than focus on differences.
Yeah.
Find similarities, but yeah.
And I mean, I know that's not what you're saying, but being gay or being from the LGBTQ community, that's not a flaw. And
no,
that's
not at all.
why everyone, like, here on BrewFOs and I'm guessing on OFAM, like,
yes,
you are welcome, you are loved, you are my community.
Yes, yeah.
But like, just being a part of something so long where that whole community was a sin,
yes,
was just so fucking weird, dude. It's still weird. And like,
my point there is, like, if your religion says that being gay is wrong, like, cool, okay, you may not agree with that part of someone's personality, but they're a lot more than just that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you completely.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that was a long way but it was cool, like, to answer you. But
hell yeah, man.
But yeah, and speaking of punk too, like being one of my ways out, like I know how me and you kind of connected was the Misfits. And I saw that you have, what is going on there? Did you tech for them?
No, but so they did their first show back together was in 2015 or 2016 at Riot Fest.
Okay.
So this is, I think, Doyle's set list from their first reunion show back.
So how the fuck did you get that shit?
Yeah, I got my buddy was their stage manager, so I said, you need to grab me their set list. So that's Doyle's, and on the other side of that is like a Misfits poster. He just writes the set list on the back of a poster, and then the one up here, this one right here, that's Danzig's set list from the same show. So that's his first.
Sick.
That's his first Misfits set list back at the reunion show.
Dude, that's so rad. Yeah. That's cool that you save all those things too.
Yeah, I just kind of started. These are shows that I've either been to or worked at that kind of mean a lot to me. Some really cool ones here. This one's kind of neat. So, did you ever see the movie A Star Is Born?
Yes.
I'm in that movie.
No
I play when right before Gaga goes on stage for the first time. I'm standing next to her that whole scene because I play a guitar tech in the movie.
Dude,
so I spent 3 days with her. So right here, this is Bradley Cooper's set list from that scene in the movie that when we're done filming, I'm like, well, I got to get that for sure. So I got a bunch of cool stuff in here.
So let's put it to bed. Like, does Bradley play? Is he good? Does he?
So he did learn to play. My buddy taught him to play guitar for the movie. He played a little bit already, but he did learn to play pretty good, actually.
Cool.
He learned to figure pick. He learned to kind of strum. He became a pretty good rhythm guitar player. But I heard that Gaga said she would only do the movie if he would actually sing his own parts. So he agreed, and he took singing lessons, and so that is his voice in the movie. And
cool.
the scenes where they're actually playing music, they really are playing music. So it's pretty sweet.
I'm gonna have to watch it now and just be like, Dan.
Yeah. You'll see me. I play guitar tech. I was really out of character for me.
That at the end of Age of Disclosure, I was like, Dan, because they showed you at one of the hearings. I thought you only went to one hearing. How many hearings have you been to?
I've been to two. I did not go to the Grush one, but I was at the Elizondo, Schellenberger, Gallaudet one. And then I was at the one last September with Dylan Borland and Knapp and Wiggins.
You can't miss you in that one, dude. Because when Nusatelli's talking, you're sitting right behind him.
There.
So you're in the whole fucking thing. So
And anyone listening, if you have the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. for one of these hearings, I could not recommend it more. It is such a powerful, cool experience. And also being American, it's just cool to be like, this is where things happen. Like you're a part of, this is how government works, and you get to be there as a citizen to see your government at work. It's pretty cool. But
Not only that, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. But to be in the room when like that kind of stuff is said on the record, that's going to go into official, history. It's so awesome, man. It's so fun. So if you have a chance, please go to DC.
That's like we were talking about earlier. Like it's probably like the biggest issue. I think the number one issue. And if you're there in person and you're seeing those people, and you got to meet a lot of these whistleblowers, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I feel very, very fortunate. Jeremy Corbell has been a good friend of mine for close to 10 years now. And when we first met actually, on Dark Matter, the show I did with Dave Navarro, okay. I had seen his documentary Hunt for the Skinwalker. I didn't know who he was until I saw that, and then reached out and just said, do you want to come on the show and talk about this film? He said, sure. And we all hit it off, and he had just finished the Bob Lazar doc.
Oh, wow.
And he invited us to the premiere of that and a screening in LA where Bob was there doing a Q&A and everything. And we hit it off pretty quick. And then it was a couple of years of me just kind of hounding him about like UFO stuff. I think before he realized I'm not just a fan of I care about this. So Jeremy has been so cool to me, and having me roll with him at these hearings and making sure I'm there to be a part of it. And it's really, really appreciated. And I feel very fortunate to have that opportunity and to make the friendships that I have. And these whistleblowers are doing a huge service for the world, I think, honestly. And not it sounds dramatic, but I think they really are doing a huge service for the entire planet.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And and if people are skeptical of, what your government's telling you or whatever, but like, I get it. It's healthy to be that way. Yep. But, I think sometimes of like a little castle with like, it's like peasants underneath or whatever, and the knights are going out, and when the knights are coming back and like, there be dragons, and they're like all fucked up, and like they're telling you like, no, there's dragons, and the king's like, no, nothing to see here. King doesn't know about it. Like, I don't know if that's a bad analogy, but that's
I heard that's actually a great analogy. Because there be dragons, man.
Yeah, we don't. That's what they're all saying, dude. And I'm just like, what, and like it's, again, talking about the belief thing too. I know there's a lot of people on the other side of like how we were talking about Christianity and Catholicism, but like it's aliens, it's aliens. But like, how's another thing in the age of disclosure? They're saying non-human intelligence. They're saying it could be interdimensional. They're saying it could be, ultra terrestrial. We don't know exactly what this is, but, I've heard some people, say that they really do think it's coming from like, what's the other one that I say? Otherworldly.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that would be an alien.
Yep. Alien. But, that would be ET, right?
Yeah.
Although another dimension could be considered a different kind of world, right? In a way. I don't know.
Because if it's like a human, but another, like how they say, some like the parallel dimensions.
Oh, and the timelines and stuff.
Yeah,
sure.
Maybe if it's a human from another timeline or something. I don't know. But
where are you at right now? Like, if you had to put your money on one place of origin, what do you think they are currently? And it could be multiple. What are you most comfortable with right now?
Yeah, I've talked a little bit about this on here, but for some reason, like something pulls me towards AI, and I don't know who the makers of that AI is. So it just seems like again, I've talked about this a little bit before, but I haven't talked to you, so it's cool to. But people have heard this before, sorry. But my first like craft that I saw And I wanted to ask you about your triangle when you were 15 or 16.
Sure,
But
sure.
I want to remember that. But the first was 2013 before I moved to LA. It was July. It was 4th of July. And I saw this giant, not giant, it was like the size of a car. It was a sphere and it had the little red dim light. And it was just this big silver, like as big as a car sphere. And it just looked like it was stuck in the sky, like it was stuck in mud. And when I was staring, I was just like, "What is that?" This family was walking by, and I asked this like dad of this family, like, "What is that? You know, do you see that?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's a UFO." Haha. And then he just kept walking. And so me and my wife just stood there for like 5 minutes. I had a clam phone at that time, 2013. So like I tried to take a picture, nothing showed up. But it just made me
Five
feel like I was in
minutes.
the yeah. I was
That's a
stood
long
there just
time.
and it didn't move. It's not like hovering. It was
Yeah.
like
Still.
it looked weird, but it looked weird enough to me that it looked like it was like something monitoring what was going on, or I felt like I was in the Truman Show, or like it just felt really weird. So I fast forward to 2017, I didn't think about it, and then that article came out, and this whole thing started blowing up, and I was like, oh yeah, we saw that fucking thing, and I was like, man, and then ever since then, I don't know, man. It's just like with the emergence of AI right now too. And then I know there's a book, I can't remember if it's Chains of the Sea. It might be Chains of the Sea where like they get AI and they start
Change of the
communicating with
sea.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay.
Yep.
So like I'm wondering if like this is our like acclimation, like AI getting like to this point where we can like maybe I just feel like we're like a frog in the pot.
Yes.
Like I don't know, like so something with AI. That's all I can say.
It feels like for sure we're at a point of convergence with all kinds of things.
Yeah,
Right? Like
yeah,
spirituality and consciousness is becoming more talked about. AI is on the cusp of like changing everything
everything. Yeah,
forever. People have more of a distrust in their governments than ever before, and a distrust in authority. I don't think we trust each other as much as we used to or should. Religion is kind of getting. I mean, it's all everything's kind of coming together at a weird point. Like the environment is sort of collapsing, and resources are depleting, and population is it's going down a little bit now, but it's been growing for a long time. Where it's like we're going to be fighting for this stuff soon. We got to figure something out.
yeah.
So it does seem to all be coming together at the same time, which I'm ready for it. Like let's move forward and do something else.
Well, dude, let's like ask you then. Like, where are you at? Like, what do you think it is?
I am most comfortable now with the idea of it being something that is here and has been here long before we were, and maybe it came from somewhere else. But I think the ocean stuff is the most fascinating and the most like there's something going on in the ocean without any doubt. And I've been lucky to have a couple conversations with some Navy folks who like are openly just like matter of fact talking about bases where they are pretty sure that they know where there's a couple underwater bases for something. And there's like weather anomalies that are always over this couple particular areas.
So weird.
One on the West Coast, one on the East Coast. And a lot of activity with stuff coming in and out of the water, but like weird weather stuff that stays at a certain point. So the ocean stuff, to me, I think that's where most of them are. And also ET makes sense to me. Something coming here from somewhere else in the universe.
What the alien or the ET hypothesis to me makes more scientific sense than like it being like angels or demons or whatever.
Sure.
Because when you just go look at the night sky, you're like some of the stars you're seeing could have already burnt out, and you're just seeing like the remnants of it.
Well, that's what they say, right?
So wild.
We've all seen a star kind of turn off. And I think when you see that, that happened billions of years ago.
Yeah.
Like the timing of you looking, that's one of those things. Like the world is so cool. Like the wonder of the universe and being a human being is fascinating.
Yeah. I've wondered too if, speaking of AI, if because people are always like, the humans are, where we think of ourselves as so special, but when you look at biology as technology, and if something was more advanced, sometimes I wonder, like, because you like wonder like what your thoughts are, or like a thought comes in, you're like, that, like, where'd that come from? Or like,
Yeah.
like, are we AI? Like, are we like biological technology,
Sure.
and something else is like, kind of like feeding us ideas,
Or
yes.
are we even real at all?
Yeah.
That's one that fucks me up a lot recently. Is like do you follow that Danny Goler guy and the DMT and the laser, the whole?
Oh,
That
that guy,
whole
yeah. I know the story, but I don't like follow him closely. But I've heard that with the numbers, and you look
yeah,
at
like
to
take
a
a little DMT, which I've done, and you kind of know that you're on it when you're taking it. But like this, looking into the laser on a wall and a little DMT, and you see that everything has code in it. And the simulation talk is something that I push back on forever and ever. I just thought, like, this is so dumb. This is such a stretch. Like, no, we're not a video game. No, we're not a program. But this is a repeatable test that has been shown to more than 1,000 people. Everyone sees the same thing. He's tested it where, like, 4 or 5 people will do the experiment at the same time, and they all see the same code in the wall or in their arms. Like, everyone's seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
That can't really be ignored.
Yeah. What's going on there?
Yeah, what's happening? What is this? And someone said, like, it feels like it's like we are peering back in through, like, we're looking back through at our creator, which is like, oh, it's so strange. So did something make us that's just watching us for fun, or does something take us over to experience what it's like to be a human? I don't know.
Or did we get to a point at some point where we got to, like, where we're going with AI right now, and then we took off?
Yeah.
And these things floating all over the place and coming to the ocean, they're like an AI system that's kind of just like keeping us, until you guys are ready.
You should talk to Xander Jones at some point about, he has this thing called the cosmic internet theory, which is basically about how he thinks that every society, everything becomes AI at a certain point, and that once AI becomes super powerful, the logical step is that it will go into the universe to try to find other like-minded intelligences. And
oh, cool.
Like a sort of like a cosmic internet, where all AI will try to find itself at some point just to get smarter and reach out. So kind of a little bit what we're talking about, but you should talk to him at some point. It's really fascinating. Yeah.
And the cosmic internet theory? Is that what it is? Okay, cool.
Yep. This is his own theory. And like he has it kind of laid out in a way that is actually quite intelligent, and it's very logical.
Sick.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'd love to talk to him about that. Sounds
cool.
Cool. Yeah, and speaking of AI, do you use it often, or how do you use it in your?
I use it for really stupid shit. I use it just for like dumb images. I'll use it for trying to kind of game plan ideas on things. If I'm having technical issues, like doing a podcast and doing video and audio stuff, often you'll run into these little problems, and ChatGPT really is incredible at what's it called when you have a problem with something?
Solving?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yes. Troubleshooting. It's really, really good at troubleshooting technical issues. If I'm trying to edit something, I'm trying to figure out how to use a certain thing, I can kind of ask it, what's the best way to get to this endpoint? And it will tell you instantaneously. And it's using it as a tool is awesome, but I don't like to use it for Googling, or I I don't want to use it for everything, but I do use it. I'm not opposed to it. I think it's also unavoidable. I think people that are just so against, like, you can't use it at all. You cannot use it for any creative things. It's like, well, it's not realistic. You know, it's not. This is where things are going. There's no option. You can decide not to participate, but you're gonna kind of be left behind, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I think we have to be very careful. I do think it's potentially quite dangerous as far as we live in for about 6 months I've been saying we live in a post-reality, a post-truth world where seeing and hearing is no longer like believing. Video and audio recordings, as far as that being truth or fact, we're past that. You know, about maybe 3 months ago, 4 months ago is the first time AI got to a point where like videos or pictures were kind of indiscernible from being real. And that changes everything, because how are we supposed to know what is real or true anymore? So we live in a post-truth, a post-reality world.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how to navigate that.
Yeah, seeing the Sora 2 videos, that's
Yep.
what really that was like ontologically shocking for me. Because like some of it was like, I was like, oh shit. And then I was thinking of like podcasters like you and, you know, everyone else who's doing it. You have hours upon hours of videos of you talking, saying whatever, making a face.
Yep.
And it can train off of that now and make you say whatever the fuck
Anything
you want and call your loved one and be like, hey, you know, I'm in trouble, you know, or like something weird.
Yes.
You know, so it's like, that's where we're at. And it's like, whoa, you know.
Yeah, I don't know how to deal with that. And also like that also makes the idea of capital D disclosure a more difficult talk, because now what proof? Forever we've wanted proof. We want, like, show us the video, show us the pictures of the bodies and the craft, but now what does that mean? Like, are you going to trust if they roll out a picture of a gray on a gurney? I would love to see it and I want to believe it.
Yeah.
But like, would I bet my life on it? Probably not. I don't know what proof is anymore. You'd have to like put stuff in a museum or put like bodies and craft in some kind of public place where you can go and see it with your own eyes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the whole point was to delay it until the point that people wouldn't believe anything anymore, and now they don't care.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Who knows what's next, man?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have
Watching
any
the
idea?
movie. No, watching the movie, it does seem like there's a push for amnesty for people to come forward and talk. But also, the day of the movie came out, we got the new Grush interview with Brett Baer on Fox News.
Yeah.
And you got Dan Farah on Joe Rogan. And both of them make a comment about how they think President Trump is going to make some kind of announcement sooner than later.
Yeah.
And remember that the Grush interview was recorded September 9th. It was recorded the day of the hearing and happened to come out, you know, on Friday. You have him talking about Trump making a statement, almost like he has knowledge of that being a plan. Like the way Grush was talking, it sounds like that is something that's in motion already, is him doing an official disclosure.
Yeah.
And then you had Dan Farah on Rogan kind of saying the same thing, that there's sort of a plan in place, and it kind of feels like things are going to happen before the end of the year. And not to get too political, but I think Trump is also trying to do anything to get heat off of certain other topics.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
that's what I was going to ask you. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think if it's like, you know, they release all these files and it's like, you know, like worst case scenario with him being involved with Epstein, or even just mildly worst case scenario, do you think if him going, you know, hey everybody, non-human intelligence is real, it exists, like Carl nails it. Do you think that will just make people go, oh, who cares about the Epstein shit? Like, he's
No,
the best president in history or
I
whatever.
think it'll be the opposite. I think that UFOs and aliens is still it's still kind of divisive. It's still a little like, ugh, can we talk about this? But I think everybody cares about, you know, kids being taken advantage of.
Hmm.
And I don't think that's anything anyone's going to forget. And UFOs seems to be pretty bipartisan, but honestly, the Epstein stuff is pretty bipartisan. And I think it's something that everybody wants answers to.
Hmm.
Even his biggest supporters have kind of said like, okay, but let's see it, and like
Yeah.
let's whoever is responsible, whoever's involved should be known and be punished for it. I think if he discloses, it'll be a distraction for a minute. I don't think an official disclosure will really change the world a whole lot the way we think it will. I think it'll be something that happens slowly. I think an official announcement would be huge and awesome and exciting, but that's just the first step. And then people have to like acclimate and come to terms with that information. And then if there's more to be told, which there has to be more to be told, what do we do with this information? What do we do? Do we get to use the tech? Can we have some of that? Can we use it? And if so, how do we want to move forward as an entire planet to make this place a better place? It's a long process, I think. Once the announcement is made, we still have tons and tons and tons of work to do.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, coming from that background that I grew up in, I'm just wondering too, like, for people really in their religious beliefs too, like when if you found out that there was something like just so more advanced and so more intelligent than you, and that it comes out like on, like, say today, like all religions now know that there's something like that. I wonder if you go to bed at night and you're kind of like up a little bit and you're like, wait a second. Like what starts going through your, like,
Oh, sure.
like, wait,
I mean,
like, why didn't Paul write about that in the New Testament? Or like why, why isn't that in the, I guess it's in the Old Testament because they talk about like the Nephilim and certain things, but like, it's a little different. Or I don't know. I yeah, it's the acclimation, like it's going to take some time, but it's like man,
it's going to lead to thousands of questions.
yeah.
Like it's going to have to be. I go on a walk every night, and last night my walk, a big part of it. This is so I can't believe I'm admitting this. I was fantasizing about what a presidential announcement of disclosure would be, and I went through it like, how would I want it to sound, and it would have to be like, here's the basic facts of it. We have a whole lot more to talk about. We cannot do it all in one press conference, but basically, obviously we're not alone, but there's something here with us. We've recovered craft, we've recovered bodies. The truth is we don't know everything. We don't even know a lot. We'll share with what we can. We'll share with you what we can, but this is a long conversation that's going to take months and years to kind of sift through, but like, we're here to help. We're here to be honest and transparent. Starting now, we have to start living in a new world, and it starts now. But it's gonna be literally thousands of questions. Can you imagine the hands that go up in the press room when it's first announced? Like, where are they? What are they? Are we in danger? Have we talked to them? Do we have the bodies? Where are the bodies? How many are there? It's just going to be an avalanche of very, very good and required questions that many are going to demand answers, and some we can give and some we can't. But we also need to be able to say, I don't know. Like, our officials need to be able to say, we don't know, but we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and I've heard this before too. I can't remember who said it exactly, but so sorry everyone if I can't remember who said it exactly, but I remember hearing that there was like I mean, I know Lou talked about the gears of
Mhm.
like, we're in third gear or whatever.
Mhm.
But certain things that would happen, like it would be, you know, hearings, and then it would be like maybe a presidential,
Oh,
announcement.
this is
And,
Carl Nell's timeline.
oh, that's Carl Nell's timeline?
I think so. I think like there was like a leaked slide of his where it had like the timeline for disclosure
Okay.
where we end up with the full truth or whatever in like the mid 2030s or 2037 or 2038 is when like, you know, we meet the beings or some shit. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the progression of where we're at, the next thing would be like a presidential probably announcement or something.
Yeah.
But if they don't do it, then who knows what's going to happen. But like when people like, okay, UAP, UFOs are real. Okay. Then it's who are they, right?
Yep.
And then it's you get into the bad shit like the abductions.
Boom.
And
Yeah.
and that's where I think we're headed next. And I think that's when it's going to get, maybe that's why it hasn't been revealed yet, because like some of that shit, like reading about that shit, dude, is like it's fucking scary. It's
It
pretty
is, but
scary.
it is scary, but it's also completely natural. Like there is not an animal on this planet that we haven't scooped up and tagged and studied and
Yeah.
killed and done autopsies on and like given diseases to just to see what happens.
Mhm.
But I mean, we've taken dolphins out of the ocean. We've tagged bears. We have dogs as pets. I mean, it's if something came here, why wouldn't they take us to do procedures and check on medicals and do tests on? Like we have, this is something that bothers me about people that get upset about it. Like we have zero right to complain or judge anything for abducting us. And we do it to everything. We do it to everything. Does it suck? Yeah, it's I'm sure it's terrifying to be a part of that, but to say that they have no right, well, doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, they do. I mean, if we have the right, then so do they. So I think you're right though. That discussion has to happen pretty soon. I think you pay attention and experiencers are getting more and more frustrated about the lack of discussion about abductions in congressional hearings. And I understand that, but it is like, I think you got to be careful with it because that will push people away. It needs to be talked about. I mean, it's a part of it and does need to be discussed. But if we're trying to like warm the water slowly for people to get involved and like, let's first agree that they're here and that we have the machines and we have the bodies, and then we'll get into the stuff that kind of is harder to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it needs to happen.
Has to happen.
Yeah. I mean, no matter how hard it is. And the amnesty thing, like too, that you've been talking about lately.
Where are you at with that?
I always want the truth, man. So if the truth meant, yeah. I mean, it's hard, like when you, especially hearing some of these whistleblowers when they talk, and you can see them like fighting back tears because they probably had friends that were killed because of it and stuff.
Yes.
Or even Dylan Borland talking about the psychological torture to try to get you to, off yourself. Like, because we don't want you talking about this, so we're going to keep fucking with you so hard that we're going to take away your credentials. We're going to take away any way for you to get a job in the future of what you're like worked your whole life at getting to. Like, I don't think people understand the trauma, the psychological trauma that these whistleblowers are going through. And they're like, oh, they all come out with books, or they all come out with, or they got a podcast. Why? They're like, dude, fucking come on, man. Just like chill out for a second.
Yeah.
And realize what these people are doing. Like whistleblowers of like any subject, they're usually coming forward, and it sucks. Like for them, it's not cool.
when you come forward with anything like that, it doesn't improve your life in any way whatsoever. It only improves your life because you know you did the right thing, and you can, like, it, for your soul and for your own well-being, like, you did the right thing. But all it does for people like Dylan and Matt Brown and Dave Grosh and everyone that came before these guys is you lose your job, you lose health insurance, you can no longer provide for your family. People think you're crazy. You're worried about being arrested or killed for what you did. And these people, like internet fame or UFO fame is not very cool. Like, what? And there's not money in this, really. Like, yeah, Lou wrote a book and he probably did okay with the book, but he would have made way more money just staying in government and staying quiet and doing what he does. Same thing with like Grush. Like, Grush is now an advisor to Congressman Burleson. But he was doing really well before he came forward. Same thing with Dylan. Dylan is kind of a young man. Dylan's not even I don't think he's even 40 yet, but had a whole career ahead of him. Same thing with Matt Brown, like intelligence career they could have done for another 30 years with pensions and all kinds of stuff. And they threw away, and both of them, for the most part, loved what they did, and they threw it away to do the right thing. And we need to focus on that part of it. The sacrifices made for our benefit. And if there is any kind of amnesty that is settled on or agreed upon, I think that needs to extend to whistleblowers as well. And there needs to be some kind of compensation, financial and an official apology for, trying to ruin these guys' reputations and punishing them. And I think there should be some kind of financial payout for these guys, including like witness relocation and an official apology, and then send them on their way once we get there. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that might be the only way we could. I mean, if that ends up coming up and something people had to vote on or something.
Yep.
It's good to start thinking about that now, people, just in case that does happen.
I agree.
So it's cool that you've been talking about it a lot lately too, because I know you've been bringing it up. You brought it up on the Doomer Friday.
Yep.
And you brought it up to Pavel on your last podcast you did with him. And I think it's a really good thing to think about because, Ross Coulthart's been talking about it a lot too.
Has he?
Right? Yeah, he's been talking about Nelson Mandela when the apartheid thing when So he's brought that up on Reality Check. It's so weird, dude. That's another thing that kind of got me into this topic more too. Is I remember watching Ross back in the day and being.
I never knew anything about him before.
Yeah, because he would like cover wars, I think, and stuff. So he's familiar to me. Like I'd see him, and then I remember he did like a UFO thing where he was like, I think he went out to like, oh man, don't quote me on this, but he went out to like New Mexico where like a UFO crashed into the side of the mountain. And there was like the dent there still or whatever. And the whole kind of documentary when he went out there, he's kind of like, ha, ha, ha. Like, this is funny, But then like at the end, he's like, kind of like, what the fuck? Like,
there you go.
That's and so he started slowly getting into it. And I kind of watched him kind of slowly get into it. Then he came out with In Plain Sight. And I got that book. When I read that book, I was like, damn. Like,
I haven't read it, but people say that's one of the best books on the topic.
Yeah, for people that want to like just get into it.
Yep.
Like, and I know he has a revised version, so I say go get the revised version. But, that was one of the first UFO books I bought. Besides, I got Tom DeLonge's books. I got Diana Pasulka's stuff. Jacques Vallée.
I just got a really cool book the other day.
Tell me,
right here.
What is it?
Yeah, let's see. Oh, here we go.
Tell the audience.
Well, it's an old book, but it's David Marler did a book all about triangular UFOs.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, because you saw a triangle. Okay, wait, tell me about that.
So I grew up in Massachusetts, and when I was 15 or 16, my my girlfriend's dad was giving me a ride home at night, and we're getting close to my house, and I saw up above the trees. Oh, is it?
That's what it looked like. Yeah, no, I can see it.
You can't
It's
see the
pretty good.
color though, but it's like
Baby blue.
the lights in the corner are yellow, and these
Okay.
slats are kind of like a diagonal kind of blue lines between the
Okay.
yellow lights. I saw it for 6 or 7 straight seconds, which is kind of a long time. Before the way we were driving, it kind of ended up being hidden by the trees, but I saw it clear as could be for 6 or 7 seconds.
How close were you?
I don't even know how to explain it. So I was probably a quarter mile from my house, and it looked like it was further back behind my house up above tree lines. So
Okay.
I don't know. A few miles, a couple, maybe a mile up. I don't know how high it was. It wasn't like just above the trees, but it was definitely above the trees.
But that's close enough for you to see it like
I saw it
detail.
clear. I mean,
Yeah.
it was nighttime, but I could definitely see the shape of a triangle. It wasn't like pitch black sky,
Yeah, yeah.
but I saw it clear. And at that point, I wasn't. I'd already been into UFOs for 7-8 years, but I wasn't fully versed on, like, could that be ours? Is that a TR3B? Is that whatever? But it was definitely a clear triangular craft. And I've asked a lot of people who have worked in government and might have knowledge of these things, like, what did I see? And they're like, they've never heard of that one being ours, and they've never heard of that being others either. Like,
Whoa.
that configuration is something that no one has experienced. The diagonal lines is the weird part. Like, I've never seen the blue kind of diagonal slats between the corners before. So I got this book just to kind of go through and see if there's anything. There's nothing, but yeah, I saw a triangle. And
Have you called out to anyone? I mean, I'm sure you've talked about this before in other podcasts, but have you ever asked like the audience, like, hey, if you guys have ever seen anything similar to this, like, let me know?
no, not necessarily, but
Okay.
please, I mean, consider that question thrown out there. I would love to know, because it was weird and cool. I mean, people have talked about seeing triangles before, and you have this feeling of like fear. They give you a feeling of fear or dread, or it makes you want to look away. I didn't have any of that. It was just like, oh, that's cool as hell. And I wish I'd asked my girlfriend's dad if he saw it, but, like, I was a teenager, and my girlfriend's dad, like, you're intimidated by adults at that age, kind of, but I wish I'd asked him if he'd seen it. He was also a lifelong Raytheon employee, so
wow. Okay.
I wish I'd asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So is that the only one you've seen?
Oh, no.
Have you seen a bunch? Okay.
I've told the story a few times, but I'll tell it again to you.
Yeah.
So again, lifelong fan of the topic. And I go through phases where I'll be obsessed for a couple of years and just like devote all my time. And then I'll kind of just take a break when there's a lull in the topic. But when Grush's article came out in the debrief, that was June 5th, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And, the days leading up to it, Twitter was kind of like, there's something coming. Like, there's something cool coming. And it dropped at 5 a.m. on June 5th, because I was still awake. I was about to go to sleep, and then it was dropped online. I'm like, okay, I got to read this. This is cool. So I read it before bed, and it just kind of reignited this fire in me to get back into this completely. I think Grush is he's the Mac Daddy. He's the best one that we have. And so the next 4 or 5 days, I'm just kind of going back through old YouTube videos I've watched and watching the old Project Camelot interviews and all that kind of stuff. And I had never really listened to UFO podcasts before. It's never even went through my brain like, oh, there's probably UFO podcasts. So this kind of reignited my fire, and I found that UFO podcast, and I found Point of Convergence, and a bunch of cool podcasts. And it was June 10th, so 5 days after the Grush article. My wife and I had just come back from San Diego, and I was hungry, so I went to a diner. And I'm listening to a podcast, and it's talking about consciousness. And I kind of always knew that consciousness was a part of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So after I'm done eating, I go sit in my car in the parking lot in this diner. I'm sober. I've never been drunk in my life. I only started doing edibles about 10 years ago, but I was not high because I was driving. I was completely sober. I'm sitting in my car. The car's turned off. And I kind of like just close my eyes and try to meditate. My wife meditates like 20 hours a day. She's so good at it. Wow. I don't understand how people, not really, but she meditates a lot.
Okay.
And I just don't have the attention span. My mind drifts. I don't have the focus to do it. But for whatever reason, I'm sitting in my car and I just try to quiet my mind and I close my eyes. And it sounds so silly, but I'm imagining my thoughts and my words projecting out into the universe. So I'm saying in my mind and I'm saying out loud, if there's something there, I'm ready to learn more. I'm unafraid. I would like to see something. If you're open to it, I'm inviting you to show me something. I mean, it sounds so hippie and weird, but like I meant it with every ounce of my being. And after maybe 5 minutes, I swear to you, I heard a voice in my head. Something spoke into the middle of my brain. And it said these words that I'll never forget. It said, "Open your eyes and look to the right." And it was the clearest, it was more clear than any voice I've ever heard a person say. It was a masculine sounding voice, but it wasn't my voice. Like when I think in my own voice. I don't know what you do, but when I think I hear my own voice.
Mm-hmm.
This was not my voice. So clear. Open your eyes and look to the right. So I open my eyes, I look across the street, and up in the sky, above the light poles, above the telephone poles, above the trees, I watched a craft materialize right in front of me.
What kind of a craft?
So it flickered into existence like an old, remember old TVs when you turn them on, the snow would kind of flicker on like static.
Yeah.
So it looked like that. It flickered it warmed up. It didn't just pop into my line of sight. I looked over and I watched it kind of like slowly appear like an old TV turning on. And it never looked completely solid. And I can't even describe a shape because it wasn't like a discernible shape. It wasn't a saucer. It wasn't a triangle. It wasn't a tic tac. If anything, I can say, the bottom of like if you look at the bottom of an iron, how it's flat and then goes up and kind of goes to a point. It maybe kind of looked like that if it was facing away from me, but it still didn't look like that. I can't even describe the shape, but it sort of kind of wobbled very slowly. I watched it for 2 full minutes, just in complete amazement. And then the same way it came, it just kind of flickered out. It just turned off. And this is the part that's really cool because I've heard other people say it. There was not even a millisecond where I thought to get my camera and take a picture.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't even, it just didn't even enter my mind for a moment to like, should I get a picture? Nah, it just didn't even come in there. And, my wife and I, she's open to all this stuff. She's not like a fanatic at all, but she's open to it. She listens to me babble about it all day, every day. We're open. We talk about everything,
right. But
I didn't even tell her about it. I didn't tell anyone about it for 3 weeks, and including her. And then her and I were watching I think it's on Amazon or Hulu, but there was like a UFO series I think Leslie Kean did, And we're watching that, laying on the couch, and there was a part of it that reminded me of what I'd experienced. I forget what it was, but something was like, so I paused it and I kind of looked at my wife and I was like, I need to tell you something. I think she thought I was going to tell her I cheated on her or something, but she was like, what is it?
What is it?
And I was like, I feel silly, but like I had this experience and I don't want you to think that I'm crazy, but I want to tell you what happened. And I told her and she's like, I believe you. Like I believe it. And it was a relief because for 3 weeks I was like, what did I experience? But I didn't feel crazy. It felt like, oh, here's the thing. So I about a year later, I was with Jeremy Corbell, and he had not heard this story yet. So I'm telling him about it. And when I'm done telling the story, I said, it felt like, and he finished my sentence and he said, it felt like a gift, didn't it?
Mm.
I was like, yes, that's exactly what it felt like. I put myself out there. I asked the universe to show me something, and it did. And that is a fact. That happened. Like wasn't a plane. It wasn't, I'm not an idiot. I kind of know what I'm looking at. I don't know what it was, but I do know what it was not. And it really did feel like my intentions were pure, and I asked for something, and it showed me. And I keep telling people, I think you can do this. I think people can do this.
Yeah.
And it's not like Stephen Greer CE5 stuff, which might be true. I think there's something to some of that kind of stuff. But I think if you ask to see something and you don't want to look at it because you want a picture, you don't want to see it because you want to tell your friends or do whatever. But if you're asking for it sincerely for you, I think there's a chance that it'll show itself to you. I really believe that. And now that I've had the experience, that's kind of made me ask other people about this, and people seem to agree. And it doesn't mean it's guaranteed. I mean, I did that. I asked that same favor 1,000 times in my life. Since I was a little kid, you look in the sky and you're like, oh, I want to see a UFO. Show me something. But whatever it was in that moment, I've never meant it so much. And whatever I was talking to, I believe it heard me and showed me. And since that moment, I've had like 4 or 5 other experiences, nothing like that, no communication, nothing telepathic, but I've absolutely seen some very weird things in the sky. Here in LA, I've seen stuff in Maine a couple times. Down in Palm Springs area, I saw some really weird shit where this like massive, not massive, but a big orange orb type fireball just appeared in this black field and shot directly at my car when I was driving down the street.
What?
And right before it hit my car, it disappeared completely.
Oh my God. It's just like,
So,
ha!
kind of, yeah. So there's been a few things, but that one in 2023, that June 10th one, was the most profound moment of my entire life, and it changed the way I kind of look at everything.
Well, dude, and that a lot of people have experienced like what you just explained too, of like this masculine voice that you got.
Yep.
I mean, there's people that hear a feminine voice, but like, where do religions come from? Like, someone could say that's God, and
Sure.
that's where, okay. And if it tells you, hey, now build a temple for me, and this, like, you're, oh, okay. Like,
I get it.
yeah. And but the fact that you're saying that your intention was pure, I mean, if you look at the bio of BrewFOs, the last line I put is intention flies the craft. And I think even with telepathy tapes and stuff, if people haven't listened to telepathy tapes, go check it out. I'm still getting through season 2 right now.
I haven't started season 2 yet, but I can't wait.
Woo.
Yeah.
Man, it's wild. I mean, I know you got to see Dahlia Burgoyne in person too.
Yep.
And you wrote baseball, and she saw it with like.
I was part of the live demo at Contact in the Desert, and that podcast itself is just an important piece of educational material that I feel like should be played in all schools. You know what I mean? Because it's fascinating. It also, I know for me, like when you see people out in public who are clearly, we see them as having like a mental handicap or a physical handicap, where you're like, oh, like they won't understand me. That poor person, oh, that must suck for their family. And you kind of just, I mean, I'll be honest, like I see someone who looks like they're not with it, I kind of just have dismissed them through my whole life. I've got to be completely honest. I'm just like, okay, this person is, why are they, this poor person, like, what are they contributing? Like that must be horrible. When you listen to the telepathy tapes, it gives you so much perspective on the fact that like those people are, not only are they aware, but more aware than you or me. Well, you have autism, so you might have some of this kind of like awareness that many people don't. But that podcast helped me be more patient with people in society and try to have more understanding of what people might be going through.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for everyone to just watch it and just, we need to be more patient with each other and just a little bit more accepting and understanding that like we're all going through stuff. You don't know what people's deals are. So just like chill out.
Agreed,
You know?
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just touching on that real quick, I know you probably have to take off.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. But let's keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
The remote viewing stuff, like I think Dan Farah just said something about it too publicly. I don't know if it was on Joe Rogan or
It was on
where.
Rogan.
Yeah, but I've heard it before too from maybe it was Lou or maybe it was Hal or somebody, but where they're saying when they're getting remote viewers in the CIA program, it would work like 20 to 30% of the time, right? But when you listen to telepathy tapes, and these kids are talking about good intention, they're talking about love, they're talking about where you're at, like on the inside, like what are my intentions here? What am I doing? It works like 100% of the time. So imagine if you're like a government and you're like, all right, we got to spy on these people. All right, remote viewers, let's go. Like, well, and it's like for war or it's for something, and like, and it's only going to work, maybe 30% of the time,
Yeah.
and you can get a little info here.
Sure.
But like, if we all had like good intentions and this is also part of disclosure, I think, is the telepathy tapes because it's consciousness and all that. But
Yes.
like once we realize like not how powerful we are, but how all of us together, if it's good intention, if it's honesty, if it's love, and like we start leading with that, like, oh, what's this world going to be, man? What is
that is
this
power.
world going to be? Yeah.
That is power.
Yeah.
And that is like, that's the ultimate power. And this is so like a conspiracy guy, but like, that is, I think, world leaders' biggest fears is that people realize how powerful we are and that we don't need to really be governed. If we're all being honest, I mean, we do need to be governed a little bit, but we are more powerful than we realize. And I think that the powers that be love that we don't know that, because we can be taken advantage of and steered whatever way we need to be steered. And, you'll get no health insurance and you'll like it. That kind of stuff.
Man. And it's hard, dude. Like even I had to go to the DMV the other day. And like I've told you before how touring was really hard for me. And I wasn't diagnosed until 2021. So and it was on my birthday that my last assessment, because you had to, you get several assessments before they tell you what's going on. And which was wild. But so like crowds were always like hard for me, and certain things like being in bands, like, why don't you hang out with us? Kind of, I'd always get these talks with bands. I was like, you're always on your own doing like, you got to sign autographs, you got to hug people, like there's all these things like
you're like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I did. I just want to, and the more attention I got, the more I just wanted to hide. But I had to go to the DMV the other day, and this is the first time this has happened, but I was at the DMV, and then when I left, I got in my car and I almost started crying. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, like it was a little bit of it, and I'm neurodivergent people out there, like let me know if you deal with this too, but like I was, before I would have been like what the fuck, what's wrong with me? But I was kind of like, what the fuck? Like this is not meant for people like me. This like that experience was just so gnarly that like, and it was gnarlier than I know people go, oh, the DMV, it's like it's shitty and it sucks. But like, man, when you can smell everything, when you can hear everything, when those lights are going to give you a migraine, when like every single little thing I'm picking up probably more than more people are. And if I know there's other neurodivergent people in there, they're picking up more than I'm picking up.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, whoa, this is crazy.
What's the hardest for you? Is it sounds or visuals or like what? Where do you feel like you get the most overwhelmed?
It's funny that I go to smell because smell is really weird for me. But yeah, probably smell and sound. And I mean, I love music.
Mhm.
I love listening to things too. Like audio is like a huge deal for me. But
Mhm.
but yeah, like can't do cologne, can't do perfume.
So
Like if I
it's not just a bad smell; it's strong, overpowering
but I smell
smells.
shit that like people don't, and I'm like, you don't smell that? Like I'll be hanging out with people like you don't fucking smell that?
Yeah.
And it's like I don't feel like I'm Wolverine or something, but
Right.
like if like I can smell like if somebody's like been eating something and I'm like, whoa, like that's gnarly. And like, or if I hug somebody and they
Yep.
were wearing a cologne, I have to go home and take off all my clothes and just fucking wash them because my clothes smell like that all fucking day and night. And I'm not going to wear those clothes anymore because that smells terrible to me.
Wow.
But
Right. Right. Right.
yeah, but people don't think, and I know we're in the normal, neurotypical world, but um, you know, again, if there's any other people that deal with this, but like I've never shared this publicly, so like, but
Oh, good.
that's,
Well, thank you for doing it.
but
Thank
yeah,
you.
but it's stuff like that's pretty gnarly for me. Like
Yep.
I'll hang out with my brothers or I'll hang out with my dad, and if they're wearing something like, what you guys like, did you guys douse yourself or what's going on here?
You guys are
But
gross.
yeah, no, but
No,
I
these are
don't I
good
don't want to
talks.
offend,
Yeah,
but
these are good talks to have, and again, like that's something the podcast has opened my mind to. Is just like we just got to remember we're all different, and we all have our struggles, and what's really hard for you is easy for me, and vice versa. And like rather than be upset at each other for like, why don't you get this? How about just being like, okay, well, that's not your strong suit. Let me help you out. I know how that works. I'll help you out. It's just,
yeah,
we could do more of that kind of stuff.
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
of
I
course, of course.
And COVID was really scary for me too because like even back in the day, like dude, I went to a band practice once and my guitar player was sick and he wore a mask, and this is before COVID, and he wore a mask, and I was kind of like, oh, what are you doing, dude? And he's like, oh, I just don't want to get you guys sick, so this will just keep it in here. And I'm like, oh, dude, good on you. And I remember thinking like, that's smart, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And COVID happened and all that stuff. And I was like, and I know masks more really protect, like if you're sick and you're wearing it, you're
Mhm.
going to protect people around you.
Right.
But if you wear it, you're not going to be as protected as like people think, like I'm wearing a mask and I'm not going to catch COVID. Like I forgot it helps, but it doesn't help that much.
It exactly it helps.
Yeah.
It might stop it. But I remember, when you like, doing what I do for a living, when you were touring, you're on planes all the time, and I remember going back 20 years, you begin on a plane, and it was mostly like people like Asian cultures
Hmm.
would be wearing masks, and
Hmm.
I was like, what? Oh, excuse me,
Yeah.
I don't want to get you sick or whatever.
And now you
And,
get it.
and now you realize, oh no, you were being kind and considerate, and
Hmm.
here we are ragging on you when
Hmm.
like you're just being nice. Like
Yeah.
another thing we need to fix in this culture is like ripping on people for being nice and considerate.
Hmm.
Let's learn from those people and bring it into our own lives a little bit.
And dude, I just real quick too, like I'll still, if I go into a grocery store or whatever, I'll wear one just when I go in. And I'm usually the only one in there,
Mhm.
and maybe there'll be one other person, but dude, the looks I get and people that come up to me and cough on me,
Yeah.
or like it happens multiple
To mess
times.
with you?
Yeah, dude, it happens
That's too
multiple
bad.
times.
That's too bad.
Yeah, and I mean, I like it's weird, and I get it though, and like I understand like those people are probably like, they don't want COVID to still be around. They don't want sickness to be around. So like just seeing someone wearing a mask reminds them of, oh yeah, COVID hasn't gone away. Like, like whatever. But like, it's just, that's just something to be aware of too. Like if anyone else is watching this, like I'm not doing it to piss people off. And if you see people wearing a mask, like just leave them alone. Like if they
That's where
aren't
I'm at.
like,
Like
just leave them
even
alone.
me, I was all about the mask stuff when it was going on, and now I'm so glad they're gone.
Mhm.
And even when I'm out and about now, I'll see someone in their car by themselves
Oh yeah, that's
wearing
weird.
a mask,
That's weird, dude. That's
or in a store. Or in a store. If I walk past you in a store and you're wearing a mask, I'd be like, oh, okay. But then I'm like, if it makes him feel better,
Mhm.
what do I care?
Yeah.
That does not, it does not affect me one bit. And why would I care if this person is now more comfortable because they feel protected? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, worry about your own issues, and stop caring. But yeah, but I definitely do clock it when I see someone wearing a mask in the store. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay, all right. That'll be
Okay.
me. You'll see
Yeah.
me. I'm usually, or if like I have to go into somewhere and it's like the bathroom looks super busy and I'm got to
Mhm.
use the bathroom. I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of dudes in there.
Mhm.
And I'm always hearing people coughing and sneezing around me. And I'm like, all
Were
right.
you always were you always kind of a germ guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
My whole life, I like I was saying, like when the band member wore the mask to practice, I was like stoked. I was like, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then it's weird that COVID happened like a year after that. Too.
Okay.
But like, I was like, what is he doing? Kind of like laughing.
Sure,
And I was the
sure.
same way. Like I see people on the subway when I take the subway or whatever. Like, it was usually like Asian people
Mhm.
wearing a mask, and I was like,
Yep.
why are they doing that? It's
Right.
kind of weird,
Yeah.
And then now I totally get it. I'm like one of those fucking people, dude. And it's like, I know that again, like I understand the science where I would protect people around me more by wearing it, and it only protects me a little bit. But if it's going to give me a little bit, I still haven't caught COVID, thankfully. But
What?
yeah, I still haven't got it. So
That you know of.
that I know of, yeah, because some
Right.
people are asymptomatic or whatever.
Yep.
And I haven't got my what are they called, the is it T bodies? Am I wrong? There's something
I don't know.
tested.
Yeah. I know
Yeah,
what.
but as far as I know, I haven't got it yet. But
Yep. What's that little behind you? That little
Which,
the figure, the statue next to the door handle, the two-headed. What
it's
is
a
that?
two-headed baby.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. So me and Laura don't have children, and that's our child. It's
I love that.
yeah. It's one's like this monstrous face, and the other one looks like a Cabbage Patch head.
Oh,
So, like,
fantastic! Awesome.
two-headed baby, and then
Love it.
yeah. So I know that's like I have it's funny, I have a notebook where every BrewFOs episode I write down all these things, and one of the things was horror to talk to you about, but
Oh, let's do it.
but you wanted to talk about the age of disclosure, so
We can do
could go-
both, man. We can do both. I mean, we can do another 2 hours sometime on horror movies. I can do that forever.
Yeah.
Right over there, you can't see it right there, but actually, I'll show you. I have the. You've seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Oh,
right?
dude, you sent me pictures.
Oh yeah.
We talked. This is so cool, but show everybody else. Yes.
That is at the end of the movie, at the original 74 Texas Chainsaw, Leatherface attacks a big rig truck and he cuts the door up with his chainsaw. That's the actual door from the movie.
It's so sick, dude.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things I own for sure.
Dude, that's really sick, man.
And
I
then
had to
also-
look up that scene again
Oh yeah,
after
it's
you
awesome.
sent it to me, and I was like, oh god, it's fucking terrifying.
But it's one of the only two things in the movie that he actually cuts up with the chainsaw. One's like the door of the house, and one's the door for the truck. So it was actually that thing was actually touched by the chainsaw. It's pretty cool.
That's really. Do you have any other horror memorabilia or anything?
I do. I have like So a couple screen use things which are cool. I have posters and toys and shit, but I have a brick from the chimney from the original Evil Dead house, the cabin in the woods.
Sick.
Yeah, a friend of mine lived in Tennessee, and her and her husband went and when that place kind of the chimney had been there for a long time. The house had been gone for the shed's been gone for a long time, but the chimney was there. So fans would come and like grab some stones. So they got me one of the stones from the Evil Dead chimney house.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Evil Dead 2 is probably one of my all-time favorite. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
All-time favorite movies of all like it's like I've probably seen it more than that and Dead Alive or Brain Dead was the original, you know.
Dead Alive, one of my favorite lines in movie history when the priest is there with the lawnmower or whatever.
I came to kick ass for the Lord. And then his foot is like, like jumping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Easily one of my favorite lines in movie history. And that scene with the pus from the pimple goes into the soup. It always turned my stomach and grossed me out as a kid so much.
The ear falls into the custard, and he's like,
"That's right.
I haven't had a good custard in years." And then he eats it, and he eats it with the earring.
My God.
Yeah,
Peter Jackson's first movie.
Yeah, everybody, if you don't know, Peter Jackson started with this stuff. Did you ever see Bad Taste?
Of course.
Okay, yeah, Bad Taste too, man.
I cannot tell you the plot. I don't remember that one at all, but I remember I saw Dead Alive and then reading Fangoria. It was like, well, if you like that, one of the grossest, weirdest movies was Bad Taste and that lumpy little, whatever that thing was. Of course.
Yeah. That was, again, like weird growing up Christian, but then horror being like my favorite thing. So like I would go to the Barnes and Noble and grab the latest thing of Rue Morgue, the latest thing of Fangoria.
Fangoria.
Just flip through and just be like fascinated by all this special effects makeup. Like I just thought those people were amazing. Like
that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do when I was a kid. I wanted to either be a police officer or be a special effects guy. In my neighborhood, there's a couple restaurants that I go to a lot. And at least 2 or 3 times a year, Rick Baker is there eating. And every time I'm like, I just want to tell you again. I know I've said it before, but like, thank you so much for everything you've done. You're the shit. And it's just, it's cool as hell. Horror raised me. Like Freddy Krueger really, truly raised me, I think, which is not good, but it's true.
Yeah, but I wonder, like, I've wondered what it's done to like my psyche, or like what it's. And still, horror is still my favorite today. And like this last October, we do this every October. We watch a horror movie every single night, and every single night, and sometimes 2 or 3 in a day.
I wish we lived closer together. I would join you. That's so much fun,
dude. Well, we'll pick one night.
We will.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Done.
But this October, it was fucking fun because it was everything we've never seen before. Like. It had to always be something new.
Whoa.
And so it was hard, but I had ChatGPT help me.
Sure.
But dude, there's some gems we found that I was
What was your favorite? What was your favorite of the stuff you hadn't seen yet?
There's a lot. I like the Autopsy of Jane Doe is really cool.
That was good.
I never saw it before, but for like a witch movie, if someone wants to see a cool witch movie, I thought it was really the acting's great. Emil Hirsch is amazing, and what's his name from Succession? Do you know his name? The older guy. Okay, he's great. I'm sorry I don't know your name, dude. But he was really good in that. And I'm trying to think of another one. His House. Had you heard of His House?
No.
That was cool. It's about refugees. I forgot what country in Africa, but they come over to I think the UK. And they're escaping war and whatever's going on there. And it's cool because it's like, there's some stuff in there I've never seen before in a horror movie. And it's beautiful and scary. And it's like, kind of like how, you know, I love Guillermo. You can see the poster of Guillermo behind me. But where it's like beauty, but then it's also like terrifying at the same time.
Of
Or
course.
like
Yeah,
horror.
definitely. Yep.
So that movie was really cool. His house.
Did
Trying
you
to
watch
think of-
Frankenstein yet?
Oh yeah, dude.
How was it? I've done it yet.
I loved it. Like,
Cool.
uh, cool thing, real quick too. I have a friend that worked on it, and he made a lot of the stuff. And so the video I sent you of the zombie,
Yeah.
so he's the guy that did the stuff in my video. So he
Oh,
did the special
amazing.
effects makeup, and that guy's really grown and gone to do a lot of great things over the years. But he worked on Frank Ippolito. Everybody, check out Frank.
Shout
Ippolito.
out Frank.
Yeah,
Good shit.
so
Cool.
but no, it's the pieces he worked on in that are beautiful, and the story's beautiful. And again, it's like it's I love how Guillermo kind of shows how humanity's really more of the monster, and
He's
for
good at that.
neurodivergent people, you can really connect to feeling like the monster or the outsider, and
Right.
what's going on in what's supposed to be normal life is like, oh, like, I don't know.
So you
But
connect in a different way, which is cool.
yeah,
Yep.
but yeah, it's cool. I would say watch it and then tell me what you think, because I thought it was pretty cool. But
Will do. Yep.
um you want I know we were going to talk about the more of the age of disclosure, but can I just touch on something real quick?
Absolutely.
With the telepathy tapes. So on Rare Form Radio, your other podcast, your father passed away this year.
Yep. February. Yep.
Yes. And I remember when you posted the first video of the grief process. I couldn't watch it because I don't really have a good relationship with my dad.
Okay.
I think a lot of it has to do with me leaving Christianity,
Sure.
just to be straight up honest with people, and people that are dealing with that, they could probably understand.
Yep.
But I put it off until today, and then I watched the 4 episodes that you did, and it's probably not a good idea. This is how I do things though, but I got choked up. And good job on you for just sharing that vulnerability with people. Because I know we're all going to go through it. I haven't gone through it yet, and I wish I had a relationship like you did with your dad. And try not to get emotional here.
That's okay, man. Go for it. I mean, we shouldn't have shame with crying or being emotional. Like, it's okay. We all do it. I don't know why we hide it, but I'm glad you watched it. My relationship with my dad was not perfect. It was difficult at times, and you have a disconnect with your dad because of leaving the church. I grew up in a very my parents divorced when I was 1, so I didn't even grow up with my dad in the same house. But we were completely opposed politically since I was like a teenager, and it was a much bigger problem for him than it was for me. Like, if I have political differences with people, I don't care. Like I was saying earlier, I can always find something to connect with you about. But it was tough for my dad. And in recent years, it was really strained because obviously we're in very weird times in the country, and my dad is a Republican, somewhat, socially conservative guy. I'm not that. I'm not a super far left liberal either, but like we had differences, and it was a strain. And at about a year before he died, maybe less, I eventually confronted him and said, Dad, we're not here forever. Like, I don't want to, like, I don't care what your beliefs are. Like, you hold them against me for whatever reason, but like, we have other things. Let's just focus on other things. We had a really good talk, and I'm glad that we did. But yeah, doing that little series, the grief diary thing, which I have been meaning to do another one for a few months because I've moved forward in the process, but I was happy to do it. It was for other people's benefits who were going through it, but it was also selfishly just very therapeutic for me to talk about and put it out there. And I like talking about my dad. He was cool. And some of my favorite parts about myself I got from him, and I think it's good for us all to be honest with each other and to not be afraid to say, hey, I'm really, really sad right now, and things are really hard at the moment, and I'm confused, and I'm mad, and I'm and going through like losing a parent, you start looking back through your whole life and looking at everything with a microscope of like, what was our relationship really like, and you just go through a lot. So I just wanted to kind of chronicle all those things that you think about, and yeah, I'm happy people seem to appreciate it, and I'm glad. That's why we did it.
I thought it was really powerful, and I
Thank
thought
you.
also like the telepathy tapes that I want to talk to you about is with listening to that podcast, you would go on walks and you would talk to your dad like as if he was still there, and you said that was really hard for you.
Yep.
But I was wondering for you, because I know you borderline atheist, you might be more agnostic now.
Yep, exactly.
But hearing some of these episodes and telepathy tapes, and they're saying like, oh yeah, you're still there, like you die, and like, so when you were talking to your dad, like the possibility of him actually hearing you, or like, hearing these kids or these people that I mean teenagers and young adults, because a lot of it focuses on kids in the telepathy tapes, but there are some young adults, but like them talking about ancestors or grandparents or people that have passed, and them talking to them, like, I don't know, I was just wondering where you're at right now, like with your thoughts with that, or what's after.
I'm still open. I think I think I'm on board with the idea that consciousness continues, which is so weird for me to even say out loud, because my whole life has been like, when you're dead, it's over. When you're dead, it's over. That's how I have always felt, and now I'm not so sure. I think there might be. I don't know if it's heaven, but I think something goes on. I think consciousness really might be in all things, and we all do share it. And it might have been Tom DeLonge who said that consciousness is if you think about it like a radio, consciousness is the radio signal, and we are a radio. And we tune in, we pick up the signal, we put it out for a while, and then when we die, the radio is broken. Or you smash the radio to pieces, the signal's still going. If you tune in your radio dial to a rock station and you smash the radio, that rock song is still playing somewhere. It's just not coming through your speakers. I think that makes sense to me. I'm comfortable with that idea. But trying to talk to my dad, I mean, I still try sometimes. I've not gotten, at least I haven't noticed any kind of signal back from him, which is frustrating. And you keep trying to talk to him and get answers, and when you don't get it, you start to kind of feel silly. Like, are you there or not? Like, are you fucking with me? Like, am I not doing it right? Are you hearing me and you don't know how to respond? Like, does my dad not know how to respond to me yet? Is there a learning process once you get over there about how to connect? Or maybe I'm just like, I don't know. People tell me like, don't expect like a voice to talk to you, but just look at your surroundings. And if a car drives by that is the same car your dad has, maybe that was him saying hello. Like, just be open to
whatever.
And so I'm trying to do just that. But again, I'm a pretty oblivious person. Like, if you ask my wife, I don't pay attention to my surroundings. I lived in the same building before this one for over 10 years. And at one point my wife asked, we'd been there for 10 years. She goes, do you know what color our building is? I'm like, of course. it's white. She goes, no, it's not white. And she told me the color it was. And I was dumbfounded that I didn't know the color of the building I lived in. Like, I don't pay attention. I'm just kind of like, I just kind of float through life, which is
why I'm so happy. Are you neurodivergent or no?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never been tested. I know I'm different than most people. I've been told my whole life that like I just have a different outlook towards life, and I have a different way of going through life. So maybe I don't really get depressed a whole lot. I don't get like upset a ton. Things are pretty good. Life's pretty good. So maybe I am. If I am, I'm grateful for it, because it's been, yeah, I don't struggle a whole lot like emotionally or anything, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because I know a lot of people in the topic too are neurodivergent. I know.
Sure.
I think Lou is, David Grush is. I'm not sure if Matthew Brown is, but I'm not trying to diagnose people.
I think he would be. No, I think when people have, like, when you hear Grush talk, I didn't know Lou was, but when you hear Grush talk, his instant recall of information in deep detail and knowing all like in section A3486:F in the whatever, that's what an amazing like skills to be able to have. And if autism and neurodivergence does that, I'm kind of jealous, because it really, his recall and like just I trust him more than anyone else, actually, because of that. I think people with autism also have a tough time being deceptive and lying. Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
Which is probably a blessing and a curse in some ways.
Very.
But, yeah.
It sucks and it's awesome.
Exactly. So I think that's the kind of thing when someone like him is telling you this stuff, like, listen to it. Listen to what he's saying. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know that he really has the comfortable ability to lie or be deceptive.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and that's another reason I got so much into this issue too, is when some of the whistleblowers, when I was watching them talk, I was like, I could relate to them and how they talk, and again, like, you can kind of like feel intention. And some people, when David Grush came out, they're like, his eyes are big, or like Jake Barber or something. I don't know who Jake Barber is, but like, I'm just saying, like, people, like, they look at every single thing, like his lip moved weird there, or like, something. But like even David Fravor, when David Fravor talks, or Ryan Graves, I'm like, oh my God, I love these. Like, these guys are just no bullshit, just straight up, like, this is what's going on. Like, one of my favorite parts, if you guys watch the Merged podcast with David Fravor and Ryan Graves.
What a great episode.
At the very end, David Fravor he says something, I think it's about the Tic Tac, and then he goes, do 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 do, and then Ryan Graves is like, oh, no X-Files music on this show, and they're leaving. It's like the very end, and then David Fravor real quick goes, oh, actually, that's Twilight Zone. Okay, I'll see you next time. And then it ends. And I was like, oh yeah, dude, that's something I would do. Like, you gotta correct him real quick.
Yep, you're wrong. I know what you're trying to say, but it's incorrect information. I must share this with you. I must correct you.
Yeah. And then I bet you Ryan was like, oh, like,
exactly.
I got it. Yeah. Okay.
My apologies.
Yeah. I love it, dude.
Totally true.
I love it, man. That's one of my favorite things. But age of disclosure, or you got to take off, or what's up?
Let's do a few minutes on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do a few minutes.
So we talked a little bit about it. All right. Already. You're about to go see it again.
Mm-hmm.
Curious. I'm really curious to talk to you after the Q&A and all that.
Yep.
But like, what else, dude? Like, what about this? Like,
I was really pleased with it. Like I said, it's not super new information for people that are obsessed with it like we are, but I definitely learned some new stuff, like the 25% mortality rate for people that have up close UAP exposure. Like, you die 25% of people with up close die within 7 years.
7 years.
Was huge. Stuff like that. And Davis talking about the different species that have made contact with the legacy program. And the really cool thing to me was the Russian Tic Tac recovery, where there was 4 bodies in there, and they found an advanced energy weapon on the craft. That's the first time I've heard of an actual weapon being found on a UFO.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool, pretty wild.
What about the George Bush senior and
The
saying
Holloman?
that, yeah, and the like, for people who haven't watched it yet, like there's a part where Eric Davis says it, but it's like where it lands and then beings come out and actually like talk face to face with some of our CIA and our military or something.
Famous story of and the whole thing was videoed. I believe part of this footage is claimed to be in that documentary UFOs Past, Present, Future from the 70s. I think it was Robert Emmenegger was the one who directed that, I think.
Okay.
But famous story of Holloman Air Force Base, three saucer type craft approached the runway, and one craft lands, the other 2 craft fly away, but the one that lands, it lands on the runway, a door opens and stairs come down, and beings get off of the UFO and interact with military folks for a while. And apparently all of that is filmed, and that was, confirmed as much as you can, seemingly confirmed in Age of Disclosure, which is just wild.
Yeah, dude.
Wild.
That part was just like, what?
I believe that stuff.
Okay, believe, right? You just said believe.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you real quick about that.
Sure.
I came from belief, and I've brought this up on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I hear the word believe now, I'm like,
Talk to me, yeah.
So I know things, and then if I learn more information and what I know is wrong, I know something else.
Yep.
And I can't ever think I can believe something again.
Okay.
Belief is scary to me because belief is what gets people to kill for things or to kill themselves for things, and so there's a really cool clip I posted once about Jeremy Corbell. He was on this news a news platform. Maybe I can post it while I edit this later. But she was like, so are you a believer? And he's like, it's not about belief, it's about what we know. And and when he said that, I was like, fuck yeah, Jeremy, like that's what I need more people to hear. But I'm just wondering what you like. Diana Pasulka is always saying believer, and there's that like, what do you believe? And all these people are believers. Are you a believer? We're gonna become a believer. Like, I'm not a believer. You got that UFO poster that says, I want to believe. No, I do not want to believe. I want to fucking know. So I just want to know what you think about knowing versus belief.
Well, I think both can coexist. Like I've said before, like for my whole life, in my mind, I knew UFOs. I knew that there was intelligence beyond us. I knew it. But then at a certain point, when you know it, it's a different kind of thing. But like, belief is still an okay word. Like when we're talking, everything you've said to me, I believe you're telling the truth. I don't know you are.
Yeah, that's true.
But I believe it. So belief is not necessarily a bad thing. It depends on what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the Holloman landing happened. Obviously, I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't know it no matter what. But belief is not a bad thing. But blind belief, or belief because someone tells you to believe something, I have a problem with that as well.
Yeah.
Belief needs to come from something. It needs to be more than just like, I just believe because I was taught that I need to believe everything in the Bible. I'm not cool with that belief, but if something tracks and makes sense to me, I don't think belief is a bad thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like, and the other way around too, like people that just believe it's aliens, or they just believe it's, this or that. It's like, do you know, or do you just believe it is because you're just like wanting it to be true, or it's like forcing it to be true in your mind without knowing what it is.
I talked about this with Pavel the other night, where someone just said recently, believe less. And I do love that that approach of like, just take information and like, okay, that's info. I'm gonna just take it and move on. But like this idea of just listen more and just believe less. I like that. I like that approach.
I really like that too. That's cool.
Yep. So I'm gonna take that and move forward. And before we go, my favorite takeaway from the film that was new information is when I think it was Hal and Eric. It was Eric Davis, when they were trying to talk about how the power source works.
Oh yeah.
And they had speculated that quantum entanglement could be some way that these things are powered, which literally blew my fucking brain out of the back of my head. Because when we find these things, supposedly we can't often find a power source or propulsion, anything on there that would like explain how it operates. But if the power source is somewhere else in the universe, that it's quantum entangled with this craft, that is fascinating. Like an endless power source somewhere else that harnesses the power of the sun or whatever it is. Of course, yeah, maybe it doesn't have to be on the actual, like imagine if the engine to your car was in Japan, but you could drive it here because they're connected somehow. That's what we're talking about. And that was a really cool perspective that I had never gone through ever.
Are you a Star Trek fan at all?
No, I never really got into it.
Okay, so I grew up with Star Trek just because of my my grandparents were into it.
Yep.
And I'm still a huge fan. But like hearing that and like that explanation too, to me, I'm like, oh, that's possible, because Star Trek in all different episodes dives into all these crazy things that just make you go, oh, like what if that was possible? Like
right.
In the future from another intelligent species or whatever. And also Star Wars with the Force and all that. Sure. Like we're getting energy from a force that's either good or bad, or so like I'm more of a Trekkie guy, but I still like Star Wars. But yeah, dude, hearing that and then them talking about the bubble. Basically, what me and Dan are saying is everyone needs to go watch The Age of Disclosure on Amazon Prime. You can either buy it or rent it, or you can go see it in select theaters.
Yes, so. I would highly recommend it. And if you're the group or family, send people that direction. Have them watch that. Have them watch The Phenomenon by James Fox. Have them watch Moment of Contact, Aerial Phenomenon, but. Age of Disclosure, if you have like a dad who's like, the smart dad who's like, I don't believe this poppycock, like send it to that guy and let them watch it, and then ask them again, how do you feel now? I think it's gonna be a big word of mouth type movie, and I think it is gonna make a difference.
And if you're into the topic, it's a great Christmas gift. Buy it for somebody.
A digital stocking stuffer, I call it.
Digital stocking stuffer,
yeah.
Well, dude, like this was sick. I know you take off, and have fun at watching it again tonight. And
I will.
I can't wait to hear what you found out.
Yeah, of course.
And it'll be cool to meet with you in person one day.
We'll do it soon.
Yeah, dude, it's this was sick, man. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on. This is a great conversation, and I hope we do it again. And we'll be texting anyway soon. And thank you to your audience and for having me, and we'll definitely do it again. And come on our show sometime, please.
I will. It's just, I've been, dude, it's been 7 months. This has been 7 months, everybody. Sorry. But Dan, thank you for getting me out of my cave. So.
Cool. Do it more. You're good at this. Please do more of this.
Thank you, man.
Awesome, buddy.
All right. Have a good night.
See ya. Bye.
All right. Later.